I'm Olori Swank, retired celebrity fashion stylist and multi-passionate entrepreneur. Over the years, my work has been featured by Forbes, Vogue, and even profiled by CNN. These days, I help ambitious women build wealth, influence, and iconic personal brands so they can show up powerfully in life and in business. Today, I'm sharing with you the 11 lessons that built the iconic life that I live now. Before we begin, I want every woman listening to do something for me. Close your eyes for a moment. Now take a deep breath and say to yourself, I was born for more. Say it again, but this time with conviction, like you feel it in your soul. I was born for more, because you were. To the woman listening who is on the verge of giving up, this talk is for you. To the woman who's become everything to everyone, but somehow nothing to herself, this talk is also for you. To the woman wondering if she's missed her moment, if her time has passed, let me be the reminder. It hasn't. In fact, your time is just beginning. This season has your name written all over it. Say it with me. This is my season. Say it again, like your breakthrough is right around the corner. This is my season. It doesn't matter what heaviness you walked in with. It doesn't matter who's doubted you or if you've been doubting you. You were not born to just survive. You were not born to just serve, bear children, and be dependable. You were born for something sacred, something fierce, something iconic. And today, I want to speak to the part of you that dreams bigger than your circumstances. The part you may have silenced. The part you buried to be, quote unquote, responsible. The part of you that's been whispering for more. It's still in there. And today, it rises. Because you were born to be powerful. You were born to be magnetic. You were born to be a total woman. And when I think of a total woman, I think of a woman who walks in her full authority, who builds wealth unapologetically, who commands every room she enters, a woman who creates a legacy that outlives her, and she does it all on her own terms. Before we begin, there's one more thing I want you to know. Affirmations have changed my life. They've grounded me when I felt lost, and they've reminded me of who I am when I forgot. So at the end of each lesson, I'll share one of the affirmations that carried me, and I want you to say them with me out loud, because repetition rewires the mind, and your voice is the most powerful one you will ever hear. We're not just learning today, we're reprogramming. Now, I'm not here to give you a highlight reel. I came here to give you my reel, the 11 lessons that shaped me spiritually, financially, emotionally, and personally. The blueprint I built through breakdowns and breakthroughs, the glow up that didn't start in a penthouse, it started in a basement. And my prayer is that somewhere in my story, you hear a piece of your own, and something in you whispers, if she could do it, I can too. First, let me take you back. In college, I was a pre-med psych major, on track to be a neurosurgeon. Something smart, something safe, something respectable. And most importantly, something my parents could brag about at all their Nigerian parties. Because listen, if you know, you know. In a Nigerian household, there are only 4 acceptable careers: doctor, lawyer, engineer, and maybe teacher, if you have a PhD and a Nobel Peace Prize. I was doing everything right, following the roadmap, checking every box, living a life that had been perfectly scripted for me by someone else. And I thought it was mine because I was excelling at it. I graduated at the top of my class with honors, and I had scholarships. There was no doubt I'd become one of the best neurosurgeons in the country. That is until the day I styled a photo shoot for a friend. No training, no experience, just vision and ignorant enthusiasm. And in that moment, I came alive. It was chaotic, it was unstable, but for the first time in my life, I felt like me. And that's when I knew I could not go back. That was the first lesson. Lesson 1. Give yourself permission to change your mind. We grow up thinking that once you pick a path, you're stuck, that changing your mind means you're unserious, that quitting means you're weak, that pivoting means you failed. But here's the truth. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is admit you were wrong about what you thought you wanted. It's not rebellion, it's realignment. It's returning to your purpose. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to pivot. You are allowed to outgrow the old version of you. Say it with me. I give myself permission to change. Lesson 2. Failure is the cost of success. Pay it boldly. I grew up terrified of failure. I'd come home with a 92 on an exam and hear, "What happened to the other 8 points?" And while the intention was to push me to excel, the side effect was this. I developed unrealistic expectations for how I was supposed to perform. The pressure wasn't meant to break me, but it did build a belief that perfection was the price of love. One mistake felt like the end of the world. But here's what I know now. Success doesn't come from avoiding failure. It comes from surviving it. Think about a baby learning to walk. They fall constantly. But have you ever seen a baby fall once and say, maybe walking just isn't for me? No. They get up, they try again, they walk, and then they run. And even runners fall, but they always get back up. So why can't we? Perfection is paralyzing. Fail fast, fail forward. Let me say this clearly. If you want to master something, you must be willing to suck at it first. Say it with me. I fail forward and I learn from my mistakes. Lesson 3. Start before you're ready. Clarity comes in motion. Here's the part nobody tells you. It always sucks in the beginning. Whether it's day 1 of losing 50 pounds or day 1 of starting a business, it's brutal. It's awkward. It's messy. And none of it feels like it's working until suddenly it is. When I moved from Atlanta to Los Angeles, I had $150, 2 suitcases, no job, no car, no plan. I slept on my friend's couch, sold my clothes, and resold thrift store finds just to make a few dollars. Eventually, I ran out of clothes, and Goodwill got too expensive to make a profit reselling. So I discovered the fashion district. I bought 1 discounted shirt and sold it. The next day I bought 2, sold those, then 3, then 5. Every day I showed up, and every night I listed my items on a tiny little website I built myself. And before I knew it, that tiny little website had become $1 million business. Some of you listening right now have shopped from it, and if you have, thank you. Here's what I want you to remember. Start messy, start small, start scared, but just start. Let me ask you something. How many of you listening have iPhones? The first one dropped in 2007, and to this day, every software update ends with bug fixes and improvements. If Apple can launch a billion-dollar product full of bugs and keep perfecting it while it's already in your hand, then why can't you? Say it with me. I start before I'm ready. Lesson 4. Move in silence. Let results do the talking. My bold and maybe crazy move to LA brings me to this next lesson. I didn't tell my family I was moving across the country with just $150. At the time, I was broke, living in their basement because I couldn't afford my $400 half of the rent in an apartment I shared with a roommate. So imagine telling your Nigerian mother, hey, I'm moving to a city I've only visited once with no money, no job, and no connections to become a stylist. If you have a praying African mother like mine, you don't just get a lecture. You get a prayer circle, the pastor gets involved, your name gets put on the church bulletin, and suddenly everyone is fasting on your behalf to bring you back to your senses. But here's the thing. I didn't keep it to myself because I was being sneaky. I kept it to myself because I was certain that I needed to move to advance. I knew my parents loved me deeply. I know they meant me well. But I also knew their love would have wrapped my leap in fear. They would have talked me out of it. Not because they didn't believe in me, but because they wanted to protect me. And sometimes protection sounds like logic. But logic doesn't build legacies. Bold moves do. So when you're getting ready to take your bold leap, that leap that makes no sense to anyone but you, move in silence. Do the work. Let the results talk for you. The takeaway here is trust your instincts over everyone else's wisdom. Every move does not need an audience. Say it with me. I don't announce, I execute. Lesson 5. There's power in being broke. I know that sounds crazy, but being broke actually turned out to be my secret weapon. Let me explain. Back then, there was a quote-unquote right way to do business. People were buying billboards, passing out flyers, and ordering glossy business cards. Everyone was doing the most to look successful. But me, I couldn't afford any of that, so I had to get creative. And that creativity is what made me unforgettable. See, everyone thought I was a genius for doing things differently. What they didn't know was I was just broke. I couldn't afford flyers, so I turned to Facebook. Every time I dropped new items on my website, I'd update my status with new arrivals, click the link. And people shopped again and again. This was back when social media wasn't even seen as a business tool yet. Most people didn't take it seriously. And to be honest, neither did I. I just knew it was free, and free was the only price I could afford. And that's the lesson. We think we need money to get started, but what you can't pay for in dollars, you can pay for in creativity. Oftentimes, the very thing we think is holding us back is the very thing that will set us apart. Constraints are creativity's best friend. Don't resent your lack. Leverage it. Say it with me. My limitations created my genius. Lesson 6. Your network is your net worth. Build carefully. Your entire life can change from one conversation, one introduction, one I know somebody who can help. So yes, be selective. Every major door in my life opened through a relationship, not a resume. From the record label executive who gave me my first styling job, to the friend who let me sleep on her couch when I had $150 to my name. The right relationships have shaped my future more than anything else. That's why I don't believe in just casually networking. I believe in building intentionally. I used to think I had to know everything to belong in the room. Now, I hope I'm the least experienced person in the room, because that means I'm surrounded by people I can learn from. Here's what I know for sure. Solid relationships will put you in rooms that money never could. But here's the key. You can't build relationships to just get. You have to be the kind of person who gives as well. I don't keep strong relationships because I'm charming. I keep them because I'm generous. I give. I celebrate. I sow. My mantra is simple. I water you. You water me. We both grow. So the takeaway here is lead with value, align with vision, and keep a circle that multiplies you. Say it with me. I build relationships that build me back. Lesson 7. Confidence is knowing who you are. If you don't take the time to define who you are, the world will take its sweet time telling you who it thinks you are supposed to be. Most of the time, their version of you will not align. And that's why it's so important for you to know yourself and to be confident in that knowing. But let me be clear. Confidence is not about walking into a room and being the loudest voice. It's about walking in and not needing to prove a thing to anyone. It's about knowing who you are before anyone claps, compliments, or cosigns you. Because the truth is, it's always better to be a first-rate version of yourself than a second-rate version of someone else. You don't need to perform for anyone. You just need to be. Say it with me. I don't shrink. I show up. Lesson 8. Money responds to your beliefs, not your workload. How many times have you heard, money doesn't grow on trees, or you just have to work harder to make more money? But let's really think about that. If hard work was all it took, wouldn't the people working 3 jobs be the wealthiest among us? Wouldn't the single moms, the night shift nurses, and the delivery drivers be the ones that are filthy rich? But they're not. Because money doesn't respond to how tired you are. It responds to how you think. When I first started making money, I had to unlearn a lot. I had to stop thinking that wanting wealth made me greedy. I had to become comfortable having it. And an even more uncomfortable truth is I had to become comfortable talking about it. Money is energy. It's currency. It flows. And it flows to those who are open to receiving it. Let me ask you, have you ever noticed how uncomfortable women get around money? We'll swipe our cards at the mall like it's nothing, but the moment someone asks, how much do you charge? We freeze. We shrink. We fumble the number. Why? Because somewhere along the way, we were taught to be polite and not powerful, to be humble, not honest, to want, but not ask. That mindset is costing us. So from now on, I want you to become friends with money. Treat it like a relationship. Take care of it, and it will want to be around you. Neglect it, and it will avoid you at all costs. You deserve to be wealthy, but first, you have to believe that you do. You don't earn money by hustling harder. You attract it when you believe you're worthy of it. Say it with me. I am worthy of wealth. Lesson 9. Emotional control is your feminine superpower. Now, this one right here, this is one of my most powerful shifts. As women, we're naturally emotional creatures. And that's not a flaw, it's part of our magic. But we have to learn how to regulate. I used to be very reactive, always explaining myself, always snapping back, always matching energy, especially when it was the wrong kind. I let every little thing knock me off my center. But what I've learned is this: true power is not loud. It's calm. It's silent. It's composed. Now, I don't respond to chaos. I don't engage just because someone else wants me to. I don't defend what doesn't need defending. I protect my peace at all costs because peace is expensive, and I refuse to let anyone bankrupt me emotionally. The calmest woman in the room is not weak. She's actually the one that's in control. Say it with me. My peace is my power. Lesson 10. Divine timing is real, but so is divine action. Let me say this. Faith is not just waiting. Faith is moving. I used to sit around waiting for signs, waiting for alignment, waiting for God to tap me on the shoulder. But I've learned something. God confirms what you start, not what you sit on. So now I move with faith and boldness. I start scared and I let God meet me in motion. Have faith, but have it on the move. Say it with me. I trust divine timing, but I move like it's already mine. Lesson 11. Chasing greatness will cost you. Pay anyway. This is the final lesson, and maybe the most important one. Chasing greatness will cost you. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you convenience. It might even cost you people. I've lost friendships. I've lost stability. I've also lost the version of me that made everyone else comfortable. But what I gained was everything. The choice here is between comfort or calling, familiar or fulfilled, safe or iconic. But you have to choose because you don't get to be both. The total woman doesn't wait for life to make sense. She builds the life that makes her soul come alive. So even if it costs you, even if it's hard, even if it hurts, keep going anyway. Say it with me. I choose my calling over my comfort. Now, in closing, the only question left is this: what will you do with all this power? Not tomorrow, not when it's perfect, not when they finally believe in you, but now. Say it with me one more time. This is my season. Say it for the woman you used to be. Say it for the woman you're becoming. Say it for the empire you are about to build. Say it for every woman and girl who will live freer because you chose to rise. Because you decided you will never shrink again. Because you decided you will never settle again. You will never apologize for chasing greatness again. This is her era. This is your era. This is the era of the total woman. And it starts right now.